Okay. Still a bear tattoo under my right eye. Okay, this is called waking up from evil. We need to understand objectively the subjective combination of numbness, shame, fear, and calculated deception, to which we give the name evil. I give evil the color clear. And we must understand that it is an all too human possibility and as something that calls out for being related to. Relating this to human possibility means staying in relationship to all that the encounter with evil in the other evokes in oneself: shock, confusion, guilt, self doubt, disgust, victimization, self negation, and despair. I was robbed 34 years of my life because of a rare eye disease that I didn't get surgery for until I was 34 last year in November 2017. I was robbed of 34 years of my life. Do you know what it's like to wake up 34 years later going, this is reality? And they didn't find this out earlier? Consciously enduring this combination of extreme and unpleasant subjective states will surely dismember any construction of self-fashion and lingering holes of pseudo innocence. Liberation from a field of evil may require an initial experience of being dumbstruck or struck blind, where the reality of one's senses, body, and deepest knowingly suddenly clash with the reality distortion of the evil field. I am innocent. I hallucinated for 34 years because I needed eye surgery, and they kept telling me I was schizoaffective. I had eye surgery, stopped hallucinating. But I have a lot of memories of a lot of hallucinations, so like they're around. I just don't currently see them anymore. I just remember them. Such a jarring moment of illicit disorientating shock can serve as the beginning of a wake-up call, where one cannot continue to normalize the system while simultaneously maintaining one's sense of self. One cannot live with oneself and continue to go along with the system. Something has become intolerable. The body, dream eyeballs, people outside the system, people also struggling within the system can serve to further affirm the truth of one's inner being that the evil system is covertly subverting. The system is not the government. The system are the people that think they're robot faces or don't know that they are robot faces. If you don't know your heart produces strawberry blood, then you're part of the problem. Comprehending evil as an interpersonal reality requires the soul to feel all the way through how it is affected by being in the presence of the inability to be affected. This is the paradoxical challenge that evil presents. My soul must enter evil to make a decision, and I hope it gets out every time. Because within every choice we make is an evil outcome. Initially, in working through how I am affected by another person's evil, there is confusion about where the wrongdoing is located. It can feel like I'm wrong or there's something wrong with me. When a person is acting out evil in my direction, I can come to feel that I am myself am evil. This sense of something wrong within me relates to the actual fact that somewhere inside me there is an evil part or the potential for a very same evil. It's not that I don't hold the same potential to enact evil as the other. However, perhaps at this moment, in this situation, it may be that I am not enacting evil, but rather reacting to evil coming in my direction. To believe that the evil or the potential for evil is only over there in the other person is to fall into a good bad split. This psychological splitting becomes the basis for demonizing and scapegoating the other. Such scapegoating dynamics are prominent in group and collective life due to the collective disowning of shadow material. The shadow, your shadow, is the end of your spiritual energy. So everything from behind your back, or no, from behind your dreams to your shadow is all soul energy. How far deep have you dreamt? How many times have you fallen asleep while you fell asleep? That's how many you got. That's how deep it goes. Because it doesn't get deeper with every one dream. No. It gets deeper with every time you fall asleep within your dream, within your dream, within your dream. And I think mine was 6, like I said. I'm not sure if it was 6 or not, maybe. It's been a long time since I fell asleep while I was asleep. Which pretty much makes me feel now that I'm asleep and whatever. This sense of something wrong with me relates to the actual fact that somewhere inside of me there is an evil part, or the potential for a very same evil. It's not that I don't hold the other same potential to enact evil as the other. However, perhaps at this moment in this situation, it may be that I am not enacting evil, but rather reacting to evil coming in my direction. To believe that the evil is the potential or the potential for evil is only over there in the other person is to fall into the good bad split. This psychological splitting becomes the basis for demonizing and scapegoating the other. Such scapegoating dynamics are prominent in group and collective life due to the collective disowning of shadow material. If I take my contacts out, there's a shadow in front of me that causes things to be fuzzy. And then I put glasses on. That shadow is not totally gone, but it's smushed up a little bit so I can see perfectly. If one is truly not identified with evil, it becomes critical to realize that evil doing in this situation originates primarily outside of oneself, and to make the differentiation of locating the enactments of evil in the other while simultaneously knowing the potential for the same evil within oneself. See, there are more evil people out there than you realize. And they don't even know they're evil. They don't know they're doing wrong. There are people that are evil. And then there are people that are blind to what I've been trying to say. There are people that don't know their heart produces strawberry blood. There are people that are trapped in their internet computers. And we call these people in the middle. They're stuck in the middle with the bear. But the bear is going to get destroyed. Like the entity of the bear on this planet. Like, if we can't distinguish the difference between our dreams, the meditative state, and technology, we will never survive. You can't just run away from your dreams, hang out in the open meditation-eyed corner spot, which the bear doesn't even constitute that you have to sit down to meet him. You can never meditate and still act like a bear. But if the bear and the computer are all that exist in you, there's something wrong, and that's not going to work. And the planet will eventually give up trying to convince you to pay attention to what's behind you in your dream eyeball. I have no control over this. Just the way it is. Got to have all three of them to work, man. We need our dream eyeball behind us, we need the bear in us, and we need the computer outside of us, or the technology outside of us. When one is able to separate and leave the field, it becomes possible to get a reality check, and then to differentiate oneself from the taint and distortion of wrongdoing being generated within the field of evil. One can begin to see, oh no, it wasn't me enacting that evil. It was that evil field that I was a part of. As I work through the dynamics, I come to, I am not doing evil in this situation. The source of evil lives over there outside of me. I have been reacting to the field of evil, and the evil doing is sourcing primarily in another individual. If by chance one is able to become aware of the vulnerable, injured parts that lie hidden behind the evil exterior of the other, it can open a magical doorway to compassion. A key piece of information can help contextualize another person's evil. Learning about a secret that stands behind the evildoer's actions can provide relief from the fatigue and confusion that evil generates. Gaining distance from the situation and getting help with processing how one is affected by the evil of another assists one with finding the necessary perspective and detachment from evil. A personal encounter with evil tends to sow seeds of deep distrust in humanity as a whole. Because of this generalized distrust, reestablishing and deepening the bonds of relationship and community with others, especially others who have witnessed firsthand the same evil and are simply engaged in a process of waking up from it, can provide vital healing balm to the soul. Additionally, dream eyeballs can pierce the fog of confusion and ground one into what's really going on. People in a field of evil receive dream images related to the distortions of evil enactments. Such as images of sleeping with the enemy, or images of evildoer depicting in shocking ways their extreme states. Dream eyeball images help provide the necessary reality check. They may exaggerate the situation in order to get one's attention and shock one into painful truths. Both dreaming and waking images that break through consciousness that is still in partial denial about the evil situation assist with realigning with reality. You can't cut your life away from your dreams. You can't just live with the bear and the computer. You need your dreams. You need to notice the dream eyeball behind your head. And I said that a little bit ago. The encounter with evil in the other will shatter and scatter the fragments of the self to the four directions. But if this fragment can be endured consciously, then the self will recohere more solidly than before. If the self has sufficiently formed and is not destroyed by the encounter, a durable self, a veritable rock of Gibraltar, can emerge from the ash heap. The integrity of the soul and the solidity of the soul can emerge from the ashes of evil. The encounter with evil and other forces the issue of one's own integrity. In the economy of the soul, evil in the other either destroys the innocent self or elicits greater alignment and integrity. If evil has a purpose, this might be it. Ultimately, the integrity of the self, my own self, is the only durable thing one can cling to. The integrity of the self is the only thing that cannot be destroyed by this world. Evil destroys imagination. So if you don't like imagination, you have evil in you. Concerning the process of waking up from numbness, Lifton poignantly writes, the vacuum state could, paradoxically, be a prelude to symbolic rebirth. Psychic numbing and despair could serve as a means of holding on prior to taking the first steps towards reintegration. But for this to happen, the patterns of disintegration had to be interrupted. The whole city, the zone of evil, so to speak, had to be detoxified. Only then could three fundamental qualities of active existence within the self process be reasserted: the sense of connection, the sense of life energy and movement, and the sense of symbolic integrity or meaning. To stare awake into the face of evil in the other, and not close to one's strawberry heart that produces strawberry blood, not joined in the numbness, is a test of soul that requires an authentic purification of the self. The evil in the other can become a catalyst for self-purification, but only if that evil is honestly faced and metabolized. Only if, at some decisive moment, one disidentifies from the evil. Only if the meaningless and despair evoked at being witness to soullessness are tolerated. And only if creative expression and creative action in response to the evil is found. The process of self-purification requires surrender of falsehoods within oneself, a sacrifice of false power and pretense. It is humbling to see the limits of one's own power in the face of the misused power of the other. This humbling and shedding of the illusions about one's false power can lead, paradoxically, to a climbing of one's true power. In the encounter with soullessness in the other, authentic power, the power of soul, is being called forth to rise up. The power of soul lives in the human capacities: courage, fierceness, compassion, autonomy, humility, integrity. The, the power of your soul comes from your penis or vagina. It expands outwards in a star pattern through all your extremities. And when it gets to your brain, you create emotions and make decisions about how you're going to relate the energy outward into the world that you are communicating with. In the encounter with soullessness in the other, authentic power, the power of soul, is being called forth to rise up. The power of soul, this encounter calls for surrendering more deeply to the autonomous potency of the life force as it flows through one's own body and being. Evil can inspire a more perfect love of truth, beauty, and justice. Social justice is the greatest justice there is, and I am waiting for mine. This phenomenon is illustrated in the moving stories of Holocaust survivors who engage their ordeal with evil by becoming ever more human. The encounter with evil can thus serve as an initiatory threshold in which the soul becomes ever more soulful in response to soullessness. You told me I couldn't say weird things. I kept doing it. Now who smells like a white mushroom?